Well, good afternoon and welcome to our Lunch and Learn webinar this Monday lunchtime. And it's great to have Pam Taylor from Love for Marketing. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. It's a lovely sunny day today, but I've had to shut my windows because you never know the unexpected, what can be happening out in the garden when you're live.
You and I were just saying, I was just about to go live on the webinar, and who turns up but the window cleaner with his brush all over the window. So I'm glad to say he's just done the office window. So we're good to go. But it's great to have you with us, Pam, and we're going to learn all about digital marketing this lunchtime, aren't we? Which would be great to hear more from you as a digital marketing specialist. Now, if this is your first time, not Pam, but if you're listening to us and this is your first time with Lunch and Learn, please do ask any questions. Please do connect with us on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Please do give us, tell us where you're listening to us from. We'd love to know how far we're reaching this Lunch and Learn. Are you in Birmingham or are you further afield? It'd be great to know just exactly where you are. And if you have any questions, please do connect with Pam and myself during the webinar, or indeed afterwards. If you're listening to this later on in the day, again, we'll make sure we reach out to you straight after. What I'll do now is put Pam's contact details on the screen. And Pam, welcome to Lunch and Learn with Action Coach. Tell us a bit more about what Love for Marketing does.
Love for Marketing. We teach businesses how to increase their online presence. So through a series of workshops or one-to-one coaching, we look at businesses' websites to see if they are secure and fast and mobile friendly. We kind of give them an idea of where they, where they're sort of situated on Google and where, and how to get to the, how to rank higher on Google. But we also do, we do loads of seminars and workshops as well. And we are also one of the unique things that we have is that we do a digital marketing apprenticeship as well.
That's great. And Pam, I think I may have said this to you before. I've certainly said it to many of my clients. So we talk a lot about BFOs here at Action Coach, blinding flashes of the obvious. Yeah. And when I came to Action Coach a couple of years ago, I came from the corporate sector and before that, the local government sector. And I realized that working with small business owners and ourselves, as an SME, a part of a franchise even, but everybody who's got their own business is in the game of sales and marketing. Without sales and marketing, you haven't got a business. It doesn't matter whether you're a funeral director, whether you're an ice cream maker, and anything in between. We all still have to do sales and marketing, don't we?
Yes, we do. I know sometimes people forget, or they kind of say, oh no, I don't do any marketing. I don't do any marketing. But even if you're somebody who attends networking events, you're still marketing at those networking events. And when we do things like knowing your numbers, one of the things that often gets missed on that list is the amount that people pay out for networking. Absolutely. So it's even though people sometimes think they're not doing marketing, they usually are in some form or another.
And I guess what we've seen over the last 12 months, I'll talk a bit in a moment, Pam, about lockdown and what it's meant for you in Love for Marketing. But I guess for all of us, we've seen a real shift in marketing in terms of the traditional forms, dare I say, we've got Kelly Nation joining us on Wednesday. She's going to talk about the power of print, which I'll be interested to hear her take on this. But I'm assuming there's been a real shift over the last 12 months from sort of print marketing to digital marketing. But digital marketing can mean so many things, and I think it is one of those areas that people tend to get a bit nervous, a bit anxious about when we talk about SEO or Google, domain, domain optimization, drop shipping. There's all these phrases that we hear, and as business owners, I know from talking to many of my clients that it's an area they tend to be quite anxious about.
Yeah, I agree, and I would say as well, that there is definitely still a place in the market for lumpy mail and printing too, absolutely for sure. In fact, in some ways it's beneficial to stand out that little bit more with that little one-on-one touch. But in one of the things that I pride myself in is that I do break things down really simply for most, for anyone that I'm speaking to, discovery call, or if I'm talking to a client, I like to break things down to make it simpler, because a lot of people do get overwhelmed with digital marketing. It's kind of, it can seem very overwhelming if you look at the overall picture all in one go. So there's lots of times we have to break it into really small snippets to get people to understand, that they need to start doing something, and then they need to make progress on that before moving to the next section. So it's you look at the end goal, it's like, how do I do that? But we pride ourselves at Love for Marketing and helping businesses to break it down step by step, make it really easy.
And going back on what you were saying, you know, there's absolutely a place for lumpy mail, for traditional marketing. There's a place for digital marketing. And I think the one thing I would say, I do say to all my clients and prospects, is there's no one size fits all, is there?
No.
It's about finding the right mix for the right business, for the right stage of the business, and the right industry. And so it's about, you know, working with specialists, understanding your business, your marketplace, and what would work best for you. But has there been, I mean, tell us a bit about, you know, sort of your world, your area of expertise before lockdown. What was it like before this time last year, Pam, and how has it changed?
Gosh, this time last year, and it feels like 5 years ago. I don't know. This time last year, I suppose, you know, in the digital marketing sector, we saw a real dip in, you know, engagement on social media platforms, you know, visitors going to websites. So I suppose, you know, it was kind of a real shock to begin with when we went into the very first lockdown. And, you know, there was moments where I was kind of thinking, oh my goodness, how do I tell my clients that all these figures have dropped so low? But then you just start to say, it's quite good having actually worked through that entire process, but to be able to see the stats shift and start growing back up again. And you know, monitoring what's going on in social media. I mean, you know, part of my job is to listen and, you know, see what's trending, see what's happening. And it's a time, obviously, I'll never probably see that kind of development ever again. I wouldn't have thought in my entire life. But so it was interesting for me to see when things started to shift and what started happening in you know, certainly in the UK and the world as a whole. So yeah, it was a very difficult time for businesses, but we did slowly see things start to pick up again.
And has there been a real shift into digital marketing? Or, you know, have you seen an increase in the use of social media, the use of different media platforms, e-marketing?
Definitely, there definitely has been. But something that has surprised me is that I thought a lot of businesses, and I don't mean this in a sort of negative way or to knock any business, but there are still a lot of businesses that aren't actually there yet. Now, I thought kind of a lot of businesses would have taken the opportunity in the first lockdown to get themselves online, and actually some of them probably didn't. So we're still sitting here a year later with some businesses that still haven't figured it out digitally yet. And that's kind of the people that I try to target at the moment, is the people who still haven't figured it out, and those who maybe did at the beginning, but they maybe did it not quite right, and they now need to review it again.
And Pam, I know you've got slides you want to share in a minute. We'll come on to those, but just picking up on that point there, what do you think it is that holds people back from, you know, digital marketing? Is it some of these phrases and the anxiety around what it actually is?
I think it's a big mix. I think it can be, some people don't think that they've got the time. Maybe they don't have the expertise to do it. There's possibly no marketing budget in their budget, or, you know, they've made no sales over the last year, and, you know, finding the money to perhaps grow their marketing, to start to see that return on investment, is probably quite scary. And there's people who are just quite daunted about being online. There's so many reasons, and it can be so different for everyone. Or maybe 6 years ago somebody invested thousands of pounds on their website and it's still not actually doing anything for them, and then they've had their fingers burned, so they're scared to invest again. You know, so many different reasons for not pursuing it.
It reminds me, if you're talking, we had a guest, Adam, on Lunch and Learn on Friday, talking a bit about his business and how he's changed it. He's in sales. Sales and marketing go well so much, you know, go well together, don't they? And he was saying, you know, we were talking then about the individual journey we've all been on, and what you're saying there is, you know, we all come with baggage, with experience, with history, with a different business vision and mission as well, and so that's going to be different for all of us. So I go back to, I guess, the point, there is no one size fits all, is there? It's about finding the right.
I've never had so many varied conversations on digital marketing. I don't think in my whole digital marketing career. It's very different to what it was. Every conversation, I can't preempt what people are going to say when I'm speaking to them, because I've got no idea. A lot of people set up businesses during lockdown, so a lot of them are at the very, very beginning of this journey right now.
Yes, indeed. And I know that for every good marketing strategist, every marketing expert, it all starts with identifying your customer. And I know you want to talk to us a bit about that now. So I'll let you share your screen, Pam.
Yes.
I know you've got some key points you want to share with us to help, business owners. And for some of you who are listening, just while Pam's sharing her screen, this may be something you've heard before. It may be a conversation, you know who your identified customer is, you know who you're trying to target. But as I say to all my clients, I know is the most expensive words in business. So please do think and listen to Pam as what we've got to say, and think, isn't that interesting? Am I applying it in my business, or am I applying it in the right way, or do I need to go back and revisit that in my business? Because if you feel you've identified the right customer and it's not quite working, maybe there's a different kind of customer, there's a different way of connecting with that customer. And I know, Pam, you're going to tell us a bit more about that now.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of slides here. So, it's fine if we kind of have to cut a little bit short. Obviously, I've spoken a little bit about myself now. So obviously I'm a digital marketing specialist for Love for Marketing in Birmingham. And we do specialize in educating businesses and how to manage their own online presence, from every aspect.
I'm loving the pictures in front of your screen, Pam. Are they your target customers?
No, they're just my inspirations. They're just the things that inspire me on a daily basis. I love creative, lots of things about creative things that inspire me. And it just, sometimes I just read some of the phrases, some of them are inspiring and motivational phrases, and I just read them and they make me smile.
I'll let you carry on.
I think it's a running joke about how I always have my little stickies and things everywhere. But anyway, so going back to this, so what is digital marketing? Well, digital marketing is any form of marketing that exists online. And if you think about your digital footprint, again, this is anything that you as a business or as a business owner does online. And, so I do say to people things like, if you're on Twitter and it's not as a business, but it's your own personal Twitter account, just be careful when you're having those Twitter rants. A prospective client or a current client could see that and make a judgment on whether to use you as a business for that opinion. And I know it's really difficult because lots of us have many opinions on very many things, but it is always good to be aware that anything that you are doing online could be seen by a potential client or customer.
Absolutely.
So while I love this, marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories you tell. And I love this phrase because I think over the last 12 months, more than anything, we're trying to connect with people. We're trying to connect with people online. I mean, obviously things are opening up a little bit more now, and hopefully they will as we go towards June. But in order to connect with people online, they need to know a little bit more about you, and sharing kind of like your story, your why. The Action Coach talk a lot about your why. It's kind of connecting the dots with potential clients and customers by sharing your reasons, why you do what you do. There's so many fascinating stories out there about why people have set up in their business. Even if you've shared that before, new clients aren't aware of that story. So be open and be willing to share. I'm not saying that you have to air laundry to everyone and sundry, but it's about telling people why you're passionate about what you do. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to share it.
I love the fact that stories do sell, don't they?
They do sell.
I can think of many great examples of clients I've worked with, past and present, thinking about their guarantee or their USP, and a bit about the business. If they've got a story that backs up why they do what they do, or backs up an example of an experience, it's so powerful.
It is really powerful. It is really, really powerful. I have many examples of the power of that, but it is very powerful, and don't underestimate it as a business. That telling your story is powerful for getting clients and customers.
Indeed.
Just careful, just quickly here, really, just a little bit about kind of what we do at Love for Marketing, is that we help you build websites that are secure, fast, and mobile friendly. We work through a digital marketing roadmap. It's quite a unique process that we run through. We help businesses to build their SEO, doing keyword analysis, and using dedicated pages within their website to get them to page 1 rankings. We look at Google Ads, keyword analysis for Google Ads and getting instant leads, and also using the benefits of SEO to do that. Running Facebook ads, we guide, once you've got all this in place, your website, your SEO, your Google Ads, we then turn to your Facebook ads and, show you how to create them and how they measured against Google as well. Because obviously Google is people are searching for you. Facebook ads is that you're interrupting the feed to tell people that they need you.
Looks like you've got a really clear process there, Pam, for the way you take a journey you take your customers on. I like the fact you've got a road. It's all about a journey, isn't it?
It's all about a journey. We do steer off from time to time because some people get stuck with certain areas. So we do obviously stop the roadmap a little bit, work on that area, and then we continue on the roadmap again. Perfect. People that don't know sometimes how to write a blog, where to even begin to write a blog, or even things like on social accounts here, how do they write their social media posts? Well, so we have to stop and work on that area, and then we carry on. So it's very it's quite a unique process that we go through, but it's tailored to every business. So yes, we obviously look at social accounts, we look at closed groups, CRM system. Are you collecting the, have you got a database that you're collecting your clients' details in, obviously legitimately with GDPR, but we guide businesses on how to do that as well. So it's about managing those clients that are sitting within your CRM as well. Working through newsletters, offers, making brand awareness, email targeting businesses, and so we do that, and then sometimes we have to go back and look at other areas and start bits again. So that's basically what we do at Love for Marketing. So don't ignore the statistics. As of Q1 2020, I actually think this has changed. I think it's 2.8 billion monthly active users the last time I looked. So on Facebook, so that's quite massive, even though many other social media platforms have tried to interrupt this. Facebook, love it or hate it, it is still it's still there at the top. So and they've had loads of controversy along the way, shall we say?
Whilst not wanting to ignore the stats either, Pam, I guess as I go back to what I was saying earlier on, it's finding the right platform that works for the right business.
Absolutely.
So don't ignore the stats, but don't be swayed completely by them either.
Don't ignore the stats, but don't be swayed by them too. Yes, you've got to find where your audience is, but I will touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
So Instagram.
Steal all your thunder, Pam.
Instagram is the social channel with the second highest return on investment among marketers. And LinkedIn is the second most popular social media platform used by B2B marketers, ranking only behind Facebook. LinkedIn obviously is a great platform because everybody there sitting there is actually there to do business. So it's definitely one not to be ignored. When we start, basic marketing is what makes you different. What is it that makes you stand out with your business? In a sea of digital marketing businesses, and there is there's a massive sea of us out there. What is it that makes us stand out from the crowd? One of the things that makes us stand out from the crowd is that we work in partnership with NatWest. That is a big partnership that we have. We also do the digital marketing apprenticeship, which I'm not aware of, and obviously our digital marketing roadmap that we do too. So this is what makes us unique. What is it that makes your business unique? Maybe it's that you're a family-run business that's been going for a very long time. Maybe it's just your background and your working history and setting up the business. Is it a personal experience that brought you to set up that business? I spoke to a lady last week that she became very, very poorly when she was a teenager, and she set up her business on the back of how she's overcome that illness. So there's all sorts of reasons why people, but you need to share that and tell people what it is that makes you stand out from the crowd. when we build a marketing strategy, one of the things that we look at, and I know that you had a question there, Stephen, about, is kind of identifying your customer, looking at how you attract them to your business, and thinking about what you want to achieve once you've got them there, you know, what's your call to action, and then how to make that repeat business. I'll come back to the testimonials. What was your question again?
Well, it was about how to identify, you know, how do you identify your ideal customer?
How do you identify?
And using the right strategy, the right marketing strategy to reach them.
So identifying your customer, I use a really good tool, and it's free. It's online, and it's a HubSpot persona, and it builds up a persona of who your customer is. So it's really, you know, it can be quite a long process to sit and do it, and you can name your person, but once you kind of, you know, it's like things like breaking them down. Are they male? Are they female? Are they both? What age group do they sit in? Are they family? Are they career orientated? What do they do, you know, in their social time? They have hobbies. Once you kind of really, you know, where do they shop? What supermarket do they shop in? You know, it's all sorts, you know, do they like nature? There's all sorts of things that you can look at. But the good thing is that, you know, in the beginning, you kind of go, do I really need to know this information? Yes, you do. And the reason that you need to know it is because it actually helps you a lot. It makes it a lot clearer to see who you're working with, who you're trying to target, and what you're targeting. You know, like just say, for instance, you know, that your customer was, I don't know, you know, I'm going to go sort of 45-year-old mum like myself, okay? And, you know, I've got a teenage daughter who's 19. Now, something that's visually pleasing to me that I want to buy is not going to be the same that you're going to target for my daughter. Now, yes, you know, my daughter and I have a joke about this. She loves to wear Vans. I went into a shop and tried a pair of Vans on, and she was like, dear godmother, please don't buy those. I do not want to be seen walking down the street with my mother wearing Vans too. So it's kind of like, so it's making sure that you're targeting the right area.
And you're not targeting me, Pam, who doesn't even know what Vans is, but there we go.
So I was like, oh, you know, I want to be a trendy mom. But no, there's some things that are just too far for our teenagers. So it's kind of making sure that you target the right audience. How do you attract them? You have to do some research to find out where those people are sitting. And it's always about doing test and measuring as well, because sometimes there is moments where you think your audience is sitting, you know, maybe most commonly, maybe your competitor is working mainly on Facebook, and you think, yeah, they're all on Facebook. So you do some research, but actually, you know, you might have a LinkedIn account that actually is attracting more audience, and you're getting more customers that way. So then you would steer towards that. So it doesn't, not, again, it's that one size doesn't fit all. Obviously, places like Instagram are very much targeted for, you know, for visual product and service, and it's very much, you know, B2C. If you're targeting B2B, LinkedIn is very much your place. But the people who maybe hang out in LinkedIn leisurely may hang out in Facebook too. So you might be able to disrupt them a little bit that way too. So it's not a one size fits all. It is all about testing and measuring.
I was having a great conversation the other day, Pam, with a client who's a mobile car valeter, and talking to them about, you know, who might want to buy their kind of service. It might be parents who've got 2 cars at home, who both work full time. They've got a salary that would perhaps cover them in terms of being able to pay, you know, 10, 15 pounds to have the car valeted once a week, twice a month. They've got children who perhaps like to do outdoor sports and get the car muddy. You know, it's starting to build that picture, isn't it? And then within a certain distance of their base, because they need to transfer the liquid, or maybe they want to target those, you know, so maybe those in their 20s and 30s who live in flats and apartments who don't have a garage or driveway. So it's starting to build that profile, isn't it, of who your clients might be.
You'll be amazed once you've actually broken as I say, sometimes it can be a bit of work to do it in the beginning, but actually once you've sat down and broken it down to, you know, a person, and you've almost like named them, it starts to become anything that you were marketing before, where you might be marketing to everybody. You just start to get some clarity on what suits that person. It's kind of amazing. So it's it's quite a cathartic but also quite therapeutic process to go through, to just learn who your customer is and work with, you know, who you've targeted in the past, but also things have changed in the last 12 months. So maybe the person, you know, if you're a well-established business, the person that you were retargeting 12 months ago, your audience may have changed somewhat, and you may be targeting another extra audience now. So it's kind of reviewing what's going on in the landscape.
Just on that point, and we just had a question from Claire. She's just saying, how often should you go back and revise and review that target, that ideal customer?
See, I would say at the moment that with things changing so much, you know, I would, you know, certainly be reviewing that at least every 6 months, you know, maybe almost quarterly. It depends how things change, and, you know, we know how things are changing so much at the moment. You know, that there's so much going on that I think over the next months, it's just good to just keep reviewing it over and over again. Just always keep your eye on the landscape, what is going on, listen to what people are saying. You know, even if you're not on Twitter as a business, it's a very good place to sit and listen. When I say listen, it's kind of reading, obviously. I don't mean that you're listening.
Absorb the conversation.
Yeah, you're absorbing conversations. You might look at what, you know, trending articles, what are the comments in those sections. You'll get an idea of kind of how people feel overall about all sorts of various subjects. It's a very useful tool for that is Twitter. If I go back to my slide before was kind of like, is the website important? And yes, it is. It's very important. You know, one of my colleagues had said actually your website is probably your best salesperson that you've got in your business. It's also your brochure. It's how people get to know you a little bit better and get to know your business. They know what your services are, you know what your prices are. Everything is much more open there. And, you know, when people meet you for the first time, that's what they'll be looking for. They'll be looking for a website. So when you have your website, we've got to think about Google, and you've got to give Google what Google wants. So one of the things that Google wants you to have is a secure website. This is really, really crucial. And they will rank you, well, they won't, they will penalize you with your ranking if you do not have a secure website.
So Pam, just another question from Jason. How do we know that the website is actually secure?
So we know the website is secure by this little padlock at the side there. So if you go into your website, and it's a good idea to get other people, because sometimes in different, sometimes you can see a secure padlock, but actually when I go into maybe Google Chrome, I can't. So you've got to make sure there are tools within Google that you can use to see if your website is secure. But basically the main term is that you've got a padlock here at the side of your HTTPS, and you've got not secure, and you don't have HTTPS at the side of your website URL link. So
Brilliant.
Just check that.
Thank
That's
you.
really crucial for your
Just
website.
before you carry on, Pam, just pause. Just say, if anybody's listening to us, you've just logged in right now on Facebook or on LinkedIn, we've got Pam Taylor from Love for Marketing. We're talking about everything to do with digital marketing today. Please do put your questions, your comments in the comments box on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or indeed, if you are on the Zoom platform, please send us your questions direct. But carry on, Pam. I just want to remind people who we are and what we're doing.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So no, you know this feeling. I don't know. I mean, it's happened. It's even happened to me recently. You've gone onto a website and it just doesn't load up, and you're like that face. I've done that. Those pressing your phone, nothing's happening. You don't want to be that business. You don't want to be, because people who will go onto your business, onto your web page, on your mobile device, and it runs slow, they will just go on to another platform, or not another platform. They'll go to a different website. They'll start looking for somebody, and they might end up in your competitor. None of us want that to happen. So what do Google want? They want you to have a secure, mobile-friendly, fast, well-managed, quality website with relevant content that is updated on a regular basis. And it's just quite that simple. It is that simple. So when people do get overwhelmed with it, just look at that list and just think, okay, I just need to be secure. I just need to be mobile friendly. So you check your mobile friend. I can help any business if they want to do, obviously I do website audits. So give me a shout, and we do them for free. So I can answer all these questions for you if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed as a business. You know, just book in with me and I'll get my details at the end anyway. But we just work through this list. You know, is it secure? Is it mobile friendly? Is it fast? When I say fast, it's like a couple of seconds. It's got to be up there. So you know, it's no hanging around for 6-7 seconds for that to be coming up onto the phone.
Pam, how can somebody test their speed of the website? Is there a way of doing that fairly easily?
Well, we've got on our website, on Love for Marketing Birmingham website, which I can put the link in for here. It's we actually have a website audit that you can put your website link into it, and it runs through a report. I think it's like a 12 or a 14-page report, and it will come back and it will tell you, it will answer all these questions for you.
Right.
It will answer them all. And it's a good idea to know what you think that you should be ranking for in Google. A lot of businesses don't test this often enough, is to search themselves under their own terms that they think that they're ranked for. So just know that information first. It will run a report. I will get a copy anyway, so I'll be able to contact you on the back of that. But yes, and it is run with a Google tool. It's not one that we've created ourselves. It is Google. So Google is answering the questions you need it to answer.
Perfect. Thank you.
Analytics are really, really crucial. Knowing your numbers in your marketing, as I said earlier, it's really, really, it is crucial to know your numbers. Sorry, I jumped slides there. But testing and measuring, I can't stress that enough. You know, as I've said to many businesses, you know, I spoke to a hospitality sector last week. You know, they're just opening up. They've only just started to get an income in, and they were looking at Facebook ads. And I was saying, you know, you just run small ads, small budget, test it first, see if it's working. You know, look at the image, look at the text. You can test all these things, make sure that they're working first before you then go and put, you know, a bigger amount of money into that budget, into anything. It's like test and measure first.
Those clients of mine that will be listening, Pam, will be recording a phrase I often use in my workshops and webinars, and that's test and measure. Everything you do, test and measure. Don't put all the money up front and then find it's not working. Test it. No. Test the small ways of doing things, different ideas, and see what works.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's exactly what I don't want to typecast myself too much, but I am Scottish. I do like to get good value for money, and that is what I encourage all my clients to do. Get your value for money. If you're spending money out, what are you getting back from it?
Absolutely.
What can you see? What are the results? Is it worth it? So yeah, that's how my father is. So I do bring that to every coaching session that I do. So if we go into social media just a little bit, I can't touch on everything because we just don't have the time to do it. But Facebook, if you're on Facebook, if you've identified that Facebook is the place where your audience sits, we've got a lot going on in Facebook at the moment. And one thing that I would stress is to make sure that you have a business page within Facebook if that's where your audience sits. Don't be tempted to use your own profile, because Facebook, the algorithm within Facebook is very much targeted that your personal profile is for personal reasons. You get all the benefits if you set up a Facebook business page, and that is where your business should be sitting. So do you have a business page? Algorithms within Facebook are really important. We can't, as much as we would love to try and break the algorithms, we can't. It's that simple.
If only we knew what the algorithm was.
The algorithms are, and they change them all the time. So it's like you've got to keep on top of it. But mainly things like, if I break it down to really simplistic things, algorithms on Facebook are very much like live video is kind of the pinnacle of what works best and will get you a better reach organically. Then, recorded video, I don't mean YouTube, I mean, a good, once if you've recorded video on your phone, that type, your MP4, that type of video, upload that, and then you've got images, then you've got text, using Facebook stories, There's no algorithm within there at all. So just to kind of clarify, if you've got like 3,000 people that are following your page, every time you post organically, those 3,000 people don't see every post. And that's what you've got to be clear on. So you've got to try and engage with your audience, ask questions, give them something to, to respond to. And remember it's about them and it's not necessarily about you. One thing that my boss always says to me when I put things out there is, ask yourself the question every time, is what's in it for me, as in the customer, what am I getting out of it? So it's always think about that. And I always think about that now. And that was a BFO for me once, a long time ago. It's like, what, thinking about what's in it for the customer, because that's what they want to know. They want to know why. What obviously there's loads of, Facebook advertising now, is great. There are some differences within Facebook advertising. There will be some changes going forward because there's a dispute in the background between Apple and Facebook, and it will be interesting to see where that takes us in the next few months, I would imagine. Boosting posts, if you boost a post, Facebook make it easy for a reason. And, I'm using one of these terms, low-hanging fruit. That's kind of what you're boosting a post is. If you're wanting the good quality, high targeted leads, you need to do a very specific Facebook advert. Facebook also created loads of, in the pandemic, loads of new features. Facebook groups is appearing, which I haven't actually put on there, appearing loads. They seem to be really pushing Facebook groups out at the moment. So if that's something you can do in your business, I would encourage it. If you're, in the retail sector and you hadn't set up a Facebook, an e-commerce website, we've got shops now on Facebook, which is brilliant. And obviously, if you run events, it's not as slick as Eventbrite, but it is a good place to put your events that you're running there too.
I'm presuming, Pam, that with Facebook or any of these social media platforms, LinkedIn, you're just about to talk about,
Yes.
if you don't have an account and you're sort of there for the first time, once you've got your business page set up, maybe just liking, commenting and following other people to start with to build credibility before you start investing money.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. Get used to I always say to people, get used to the platform first before you start splashing money out. And it's the same with LinkedIn. I've used the free LinkedIn for a long time and I've got on just fine with it. Get familiar with the platform before you start investing money in it. You can build up within Facebook. You can do campaigns to get likes on your page, and that's fine. But just make sure you're getting, if you're getting those likes on the page, what are they coming to see once they've, once you've got those likes? What's the activity that's going to go? Because they won't hang around there for too long. They'll be somewhere else. But I always say get used to the platform first. I'm going to step briefly onto LinkedIn as well. And obviously you've got personal profiles on LinkedIn, you've got business pages too. It's not the same as Facebook, LinkedIn, although it's done phenomenally, I think, in the last 12 months. I would say it's a platform that's really, I mean, it's kind of blown my mind with what they've done on there, but it's still clunkier than the other social media platforms. So business pages takes a lot more work to build up, but you can invite your connections from your own personal profile to build that following up on that business page. As a business and a business owner, I feel it is really important to be active on LinkedIn. But obviously, once you've set up your profile properly, looking at what you should be posting on LinkedIn, you're trying to show people that you are an expert in your field. That is what you're sharing with people. So that might be articles that you've written, blog posts that you're writing.
Credibility.
Just sharing your opinion on something. Don't just go on to LinkedIn and post and expect engagement. Engage with other businesses and other people too, people that you might have been connected to in the past. Just make sure that you use it as a social platform. It is social for a reason. And LinkedIn is one of those platforms that I always think is like, it is like a networking event, but on a virtual platform. So you wouldn't go into a room and just ignore people. You would go in and you would talk to them. You'd spend time. You wouldn't talk to everybody. If you've got you know, 10,000 connections. You can't talk to everybody, but you would talk to a select few people. So make sure that you do still continue those conversations, and then you'll be surprised that you will start to build up that those, you know, people will then have conversations with you, and you don't know, you know, who knows who, and it's kind of spreading, you know, spreading your network out there, you know, spreading what you do to other people.
Question, Sandeep, just on that point, you talked about building credibility on whatever platform you're on, Pam. How often, he's asking, should you spend on any one platform?
I
Or
say
how
no.
regularly should you go on?
Well, okay, so that's two different questions, but I would say that you definitely don't need to spend more than 30 minutes on each platform. And you don't want to be on every platform, because your audience isn't going to be sitting on every platform. And make sure that you got used to that one platform before you move on to the next one. But posting on each platform is different for each one. So Facebook, you know, there's been a lot of analytics done and market research, obviously. And, you know, again, it does depend what your, you know, what your business is. But, you know, you can post, you know, up to, well, they said between 4 and 6 posts. That was what the stats showed, but that wouldn't be for every business.
Is that per week, per day, per month?
Oh, per day, sorry, per day. And spread out throughout the day. You can overpost and you can underpost. So it's better to get, and I say this on any platform, it's better to get one post out and be consistent. If one post is all you can manage a day, then just do that.
Be consistent, absolutely.
Be consistent. It's better to be consistent than it is to go, oh gosh, we don't have 3 posts or whatever to go out. I would say almost like 3 posts a day on Facebook, you know, 2, maybe 3 on LinkedIn, but have them spaced out by many hours apart. You know, even 1 post a day is fine on LinkedIn. Instagram, you know, you can post once a day on there, or, you know, if 3 times a week is all you can do. The key to it is to try and be consistent and not kind of, you know, 1 week when you're really quiet, go post happy, and then leave it for a month. That's not going to work. So
discipline and consistency is what I'm getting from you, Pam, on that point. So hopefully that helps you, Sandeep, in terms of, you know, whether it's an hour a day, whether it's 10 minutes a day, but make sure it's consistent and have the discipline to do it every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just briefly on here, obviously Instagram is very, as I said earlier, very visual platform, really good for B2C. You know, if you've got a visual product or a very good visual service, you know, hospitality, any of these types of businesses that have, you know, people are buying into a lifestyle. So it's, you know, I could touch on all of these platforms. I could do a whole hour on each one and more. So it's difficult to cover everything. But if you are in that type of, Instagram is your platform, then do reach out to me and we can have a discussion. Twitter is very fast-paced. I love Twitter personally. It's a really great place to see, as I said, to see what's trending, what's going on in the world. You can use it for your business so well, and you know, create a great organic audience through Twitter. I think more than you can with any other platform. It's phenomenal, the power that's within Twitter, but it's underutilized a lot of the time. But again, if anybody needs guidance and think, I don't even you know, my partner always says to me, I don't even understand what Twitter is. What's it about? What's it for? If you are that person, do reach out to me, because it can be a really, really powerful tool for your business.
And Pam, correct me, this is my own misgivings here, but is Twitter a platform where you need to perhaps be keeping that more up to date than other platforms? You know, it's more of a conversational platform.
You've got to be very fast. So it's a conversation. A great example for Twitter is that, you know, if there's things like, I mean, you know, there's programs that are on TV. So you've got things like The Apprentice, you've got things like The Sewing Bee, you've got The Voice, you've got, you know, Top Gear, any of these programs, even things like Line of Duty, all the sort of top programs that are on, they'll have a hashtag that they talk about on that, for that program. And if you kind of join in, I mean, I'm not saying you do things like Line of Duty, but if you know, if for instance you are a bread maker or a baker, and we've got, you know, the British Bake Off on, if you're kind of using that hashtag and having conversation throughout the whole program, you'll raise your profile like that in a very short space of time. And you know, the potential to get customers out of that is just, it's mind-blowing. There's journalists on there. You know, I know a friend, you know, back in the day when I used to do my sort of selling of clothes, ended up on TV, and all she did was respond to a tiny little advert on Twitter that just said, oh, we're just looking for people who are, you know, selling kind of retro clothing. She ended up on you know, a really high profile program where she got interviewed. Or anything you can, you know, you can grab out of it. Obviously her business went from like little to next thing she's stocking clothes for TV programs. So I mean,
the opportunity out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these tools drive traffic to your website, so that's why your website is really, really important, because all this is driving traffic there.
And going back, Pam, to your original, where we started the conversation around, you know, sort of your ideal customer, I mean, some people talk about an avatar or that sort of persona.
Yeah.
I guess it's about, you know, drilling down or unpacking who that might be, what they might look like, what platforms might be using, and then spending most of your time on one platform. You had about 6, I think, in that diagram.
Yes.
I can imagine somebody feeling quite overwhelmed if they were going to start six profiles. So I guess my advice, and Pam, agree or disagree, but start with one and get that working really well.
Start with one.
80-20 rule or 90-10 rule in terms of your time.
Yeah. Make that one platform work for you, first of all. You know, because they're, you know, potentially, you know, if you're in a certain sector, all of these platforms could be where your audience sits. But don't, you know, make sure that your website is built very well for SEO, so that those people are finding you when they search, when they Google search. But learn one platform, use it well before you go on to the next one. And again, it's kind of like trying not to get sucked into a vortex of you know, of social media as well, because it's so easy to get sucked in and you lose half a day before you know it. And that's not, you know, in us digital marketers, we appreciate that businesses are there to do business. Digital marketing might not be the main focus of the day. So it's about grabbing the attention that you can with the tools that you've got. So your website is your main tool. You've got to get that working. You've got to be found. But then if you're using a social media platform, make sure that rocks. You know, that is where, you know, that's where they can see what you do. They can see who you are. They can learn about you.
Yeah.
But please don't move on. Please don't try and do 6 platforms, because if you're a solopreneur, please, you know, that's crazy. You're never going to reach everybody.
Treat it like your shop window to the world, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which it is.
So it's thinking about things like the CRM system. Once you've collected the data, you've collected the, you know, you might have downloads in your website, you've collected this data. What do you then do with the data? You know, really, you have to nurture the people once they're there. You know, you might have hot leads, warm leads. What do you do with them? You know, email marketing. You know, it's kind of retargeting and keeping your database informed. Otherwise, those people will then go from hot leads to cold leads and they're gone. You need to keep them interested. You need to keep taking them into the sales funnel, so you know that they're learning more about you. Because if it's an expensive product and it's a considered product, it may take time to nurture that person or service. Obviously, it might take time for that person to trust you. So you've got to nurture them along the way and to finally get that sale. So what do you do with them when you've got them in the database? Again, it's something that we talk about to many customers.
I guess ultimately that's what we're doing with social media. We're trying to, as you say, build those leads into your funnel, to have that continual conversation, those touch points, because not everyone is going to be ready to buy straight away. But if they're engaged in your business, you can take them on that journey and show how you can add value to them in terms of your products and your services.
Yeah, unless people are specifically searching for you and they know what they want, they maybe don't even know that they need you yet.
Yeah.
And that's that's the thing. So then you've got to educate people on why they might need you. Why do they need, you know, like for action coach, why do they need business coaching? What benefit are they going to get out of that? You know, that might be a very considered, somebody might have thought, oh, I would like to do some business coaching, but I actually don't even know what it entails. What work will it, you know? So it's educating the customer to then go, yeah, that is exactly what I need, and I'm going to buy that now. Or maybe they might need a further touching point. They might need a phone call. Actually, I need to speak to somebody. So that's why kind of offering things like freebies and free discovery calls might be the moment that they go, yes, this is clicking now. This is exactly what I need. And this person knows what they're talking about. I've worked in the same sector that as me. I do need to make this purchase.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's all that. You know, it's all about getting confidence, and you know, that's what I pride myself in at Love for Marketing, is helping businesses and business owners to get the confidence to grow within their business and feel confident that they're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. I'm conscious we've got about 9 minutes left, Pam, just to give you the heads up.
So yeah, this was just, you know, if you're looking to building a 90-day marketing plan is something to definitely consider. But look at, what do you want to achieve? When do you want to achieve it? How are you going to achieve it? Who's responsible for it? Planning out key dates and events that may be coming up, and be consistent. And test and measure. I thought that was at the bottom there throughout the whole thing. Always own your strategy. Go in it with confidence and own it. You know, once you've defined your USP, your customer, your actual customer, own what you do. Own it. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And just briefly, what we touched on earlier, how we can help you. And yes, and thank you. That's me.
I know, it's brilliant, Pam. Thank you so much. You've packed so much into such a short space of time. But I think we were absolutely on the right page here, on the same page, certainly. You know, I talk in all of my workshops, masterclass, and webinars about, you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the business, in any area of the business, don't panic. And I often talk about Blackadder and Baldrick. You know, I love Baldrick because he's always got a plan. It might always not be the best of plans, but he's always got a plan. And I think that's the best place to start. If you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that Pam has talked about, you know, the different platforms, CRM, looking at how you can, you know, identify that ideal customer, don't panic. Have a conversation with Pam, you know, and start building that plan. Start thinking about the different communication channels that you might want to use in your marketing strategy over the next, you know, it doesn't have to be the next year, just the next 90 days, as Pam has said there. You know, really useful comments and really useful input. So thank you, Pam, so much. I want to just end with this quote. I think good marketing makes a company look smart, but great marketing makes the customer feel smart. And I love that from Joe Chernove. Great quote. And I think that's what marketing is all about, isn't it? It's about empowering the customer to want to come and buy and engage with you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It makes them feel like they've made the right decision. So that does make them feel smart. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all about testing and measuring and taking one small step at a time. So if you found, I'm sure you have found different aspects of what we've talked about this Lunch and Learn useful, you know, it's got you thinking about what can you do differently, what can you do better. Going back to what I said at the beginning, don't think I know, think isn't that interesting? What parts of what Pam has said today can you go back and look at in your business? Do you need to go back and rethink your Facebook strategy? Do you need to go back and look at which platform is best for you? Do you need to engage more and look at your default diary and think I need to put more time into my diary each week to engage with my customers online? Or indeed, do you need to go back and look at which customers are your focus going forwards? Pam, you said about discovery calls. Just want to tell us a bit more about what that entails and what they are.
So basically, we do. You know, I suppose it depends what the inquiry is, but so sometimes it's good. I mean, I've got a diary that's open and people can book in any time that they want using my calendar invite, but they can book in, they can phone this number here or email me and book in for a discovery call, which is, you know, we can look at marketing strategy for it's basically up to an hour that you can have. And after that hour, we can decide how to progress. You know, do you need a marketing, you know, I run a marketing club, so it's like, do you need to be part of that to actually grow, or do you have enough information to go away and do it all for yourself already? So yeah, there's a variety of different things that can come out of the discovery call. They're usually up to an hour.
So it's a free, no obligatory call to find out what support you can give, what mutual beneficial there might be if you're working together. It may be, as you say, marketing club, which I think is group based, isn't it, or one-to-one, or it could be a complete website rebuild. Who knows? But having that conversation.
Audit,
You talked about website audits. You also talked about website speed tests. All of those things, again, by contacting you, Pam, you'll be happy to help.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So much to offer potential clients out there, Pam, and really appreciate you joining us this lunch and learn. So Pam Taylor from Love for Marketing, your website, so your email address and your phone number on the screen now.
Yes.
And if that's not enough, we're giving you so much this lunch and learn. If that's not enough, I'd also like to make an equally good offer, I hope, in terms of anybody on this call this afternoon, anybody on this workshop, lunch and learn webinar. I'd love to offer you a free coaching session or a free 6 steps health check on your business to identify which areas of the business might be best for you to focus on over the next 90 days. And we've also launched our 30X program, which is 30 mini workshops online. For 15 hours, that's 15 videos, mini workshop videos, a 90-day planning workshop, not on marketing, but on the business, the wider aspects of the business, accountability coaching calls and sessions, and that's just for £30 a week. So coaching is affordable, marketing support is affordable, and it's all there for you if you would like to reach out and have that initial conversation. Like Pam, it's free to have that initial chat with us, that initial free coaching session. And I'm sure Pam would say the same. Please do connect with us either at Love for Marketing or Action Coach Birmingham. Find us on Facebook, find us on LinkedIn. We would love to have that conversation with you.
Yes.
And see how we can work together. But for now, I just want to say, 4 minutes to go, Pam. So we've done really well on the time. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to rush you early on, but it's really great to have had you with us this lunch and learn. We're continuing on the theme of marketing. And I know, Pam, you said you'd be interested in listening to this on Wednesday. We've got Kelly Nation from Personalized Nation. We're going to be putting in information on our LinkedIn and our Facebook page later on today and over the next few days. So Kelly is coming from Personalized Nation. They're a printing business. So they're looking at marketing from a different perspective. How the power of print, I think, is, how that's still valid and still has a place in your marketing strategy as we come out of lockdown. So it'll be really interesting to hear what Kelly's got to say. That's next Wednesday, this Wednesday coming at 12 o'clock to hear Kelly Nation from Nation, from her printing business, and Personalized Nation. That's the word I was looking for, from Personalized Nation. Be looking forward to hearing what Kelly's got to share with us. So we've had digital today, print on Wednesday, and hopefully from those 2 lunch and learns you'll go away equipped this week to really drive your business forwards, and as Pam was saying earlier on, to generate those leads, to put them into that funnel so you can start working with them through your great CRM. So I'll leave it there for now. Thank you again, Pam, so much for joining us. It's been great having you with us. To all our listeners, whether you're listening to us live this lunch and learn or whether you're listening to us later on, please do connect, please do keep in touch, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. But for now, stay well, stay safe, and if you get a chance on this lunchtime, go and enjoy a bit of sunshine. But for now, take care. Thanks again, Pam.
Thanks, Steve.